Hey, everybody, and welcome to All Night New York City with a night dedicated to AR in music. I'm joining you from New York City, where it's a pretty cold day. Would love to hear in the chat where you are joining from. How's the weather there? And most importantly, what's your angle when it comes to AR in music? What do you love to see? What are your expectations or experience with that? Today's meetup is focused on AR in music, and we have some incredible speakers for you showing some of the latest and greatest demos of AR in music. Melody actually couldn't make it today. She's extremely pregnant. So instead, we're lucky to have the guy behind the content of this app, Gad Hinkis, also known as Baruch. And we also have Zachary Aghaizu, a founder of BOCLAA, Chris Nunes, co-founder of Immuse from the Heavy, and Zac Reid, founder of Pianovision. So a really incredible set of demos. I'm really excited. But before we get there, now that you're here on AWE Live, it's just a few words to say about this. It's a free online platform for the XR community to learn, connect, and grow, and it hosts a non-stop stream of online XR events like this meetup. All-night meetups are now running in 30 cities around the world. It started in 2009 with All Night New York City. This meetup was probably the first in the world. And since then, we now have a coverage of almost the entire world. Just last week, we had our first meetup in Paris, which was pretty cool, in French. And since you're already here, check out the awesome people on the platform. There are over 12,000 XR professionals now on All Live, and you can access the people directory and communicate directly with people on the right side bar. So take it away from there. On this platform, we have a stream of events like some of the podcasts and webinars and all-night meetups in other cities that you can see here, all coming up this week and next. So always something to watch on All Live. 2022 was a great comeback for the big in-person events for AWE. We had the USA, Asia, and Europe events happening after a few years of pandemic, and that was really exciting. For those who attended it, please share your experience. How did you enjoy those events? And for those who missed it, you can actually watch all these sessions from these events right here on All Live. You just need to go back to the dates where these events took place. And in 2023, we're coming back with these big events, better than ever. The event in the US probably will be the largest XR event ever. We're expecting 300 exhibitors from across the entire ecosystem, which is promising to be an amazing event. And AW Asia this year is going to be outside of China in Singapore, which we expect to be the most international events we've ever had in Asia, with a lot of international visitors from the US and Europe. And then EU, this year we're doing it for the first time in Vienna, Austria. Fantastic city, and we're really, really excited about this new location. And of course, All Live, always on, always here, always something happening. So come frequently and check it out. In addition, AWE also is offering a set of courses under the AWE Academy. I'm running sort of an accelerator or mentoring course for early stage startups that are looking to fundraise. And we have about a course starting every quarter or so. So if interested, check it out on the website. And we also have now, if you're into web AR, there's a 2-day course which you can view on demand at any time. It's, you know, basically videos that we recorded of some of the best speakers about where they are. And it's available for the ridiculous price of $49. So if you go to awxstar.com/academy, you can sign up to these courses. And, you know, the best way to catch the latest news in AR and VR is, of course, you know, to follow us on our social channels. And if you want it in your inbox, you can just go to our website and sign up to the weekly spatial newsletter. So you can get all the latest extra news right in your inbox. All right, now we're ready to get started with our main topic for tonight, which is, you know, really one of the most exciting things that I've seen over the years in AR is how AR can change the music industry. You know, if you look over the past decade or more, you've seen that the music industry has been, and music fans have been fascinated with how AR can really engage listeners in experiencing music, in creating and even learning. And today we have examples of all these things. But first, you know, I want to give you kind of a quick overview of the main thing. So with AR, you can make music. That's one of the big promises of AR. Kind of like my opening keynote at AWE, where I used the Mictic bracelets to play this horrible solo guitar. But actually, you know, it felt really real, and I felt good. Maybe a little cringy for the audience, but for me, it was pretty awesome. And, you know, with AR, you can also learn music. Like, you know, we've seen this virtual instructor from, I think, 2016 or 2017, which I'm not sure was adopted in a wide way, but it was kind of a cool concept. And today we'll see a real product that I think is inspired by this in a certain way. And with AR, you can also experience music in a new way, whether it's in a concert or at home, or even in different landmarks around the city. You know, we've heard and seen a lot of what Coachella has been doing with AR at their events. It's kind of a showcase of how AR can really enhance the music goer's experience. We've seen this recent experience in Times Square by the Gorillaz, which I think was really awesome. How it was actually leveraging the buildings around it, all the billboards to create a whole new experience. And there were thousands of people there experiencing and watching it in real time, which was really cool. Now, I want to bring you back to 2007, where I personally had my first aha moment with kind of this intersection of AR and music. So, you know, I was watching a theremin experience, you know, theremin, right? Where she moves her fingers and hands in the air and it creates music in a magical way. Always looks extremely mysterious how that actually happens. But my immediate thought at that point was that there must be a way to visualize this. So just to make it a bit easier on us, you know, regular people, if we want to be able to play the theremin or maybe something else. So that was kind of my first experience of, you know, AR and music. And I want to kind of walk you through some of the vintage experiences that I've collected since then. You know, I just found a blog post that I wrote in 2010 about this topic, you know, AR and music. And you would think, you know, what, 2010 AR and music? That's incredible. Well, in fact, there was quite a bit of that. And of course, you know, it's a very different world. Yes, you had a little bit of mobile AR on smartphones, you know, like this Beatles AR app from 2009, where you can point it to a a crosswalk and see the Beatles, or maybe your friends or yourself walking on the crosswalk. So that was kind of cool. But take a look at this. This is the first music video in AR. And back then, you would basically have to print a paper and put it in front of your webcam of your computer. That's how most of the AR experiences used to roll at that time. And this, of course, is John Mayer. It was kind of interesting how they recorded this whole thing in 3D with the green screen. And as you move the paper, you can actually tilt it and see the content in a way that feels really 3D. So that was pretty cool, way in the past. And this is another one, you can actually use product packaging like this Kit Kat packaging to trigger another kind of music experience. All right, let's move on to creating music with AR. So again, webcam with different markers that you place on the table, and each one has kind of its own soundtrack, and you can play with it, show it, not show it. I thought that was a pretty fun way to do it. Again, 2010, incredible.
Welcome to the Los Valentinos.
Here's the Los Valentinos AR music creation game, where you have, the players, again, show up on markers, and you can play with it. You can
losvalentinos.com and either go to the creator section to make
do all sorts of stuff with it, kind of remix it in some ways. That was a really cool one. And this is actually an experience that I've created in 2012. So we're talking about the iPhone, what was it? Maybe 4. And Pepsi, actually, that time they were doing a lot of beatboxes with their Pepsi cans. So we created this crazy beatbox experience driven by a real Pepsi bottle. Take a look. So you would press on the button on the thing on the bottle. You'd see the label actually popping up in 3D. Of course, it's slow. This is again 2012. But you can record yourself kind of doing the beatboxes. I was pretty bad at that, but you get the idea. And when you scratch the label, it actually creates a scratching sound. And you can add another virtual bottle and then record another sound, up to 3 different sounds that will all be playing together. And, different effects will show up on the label as you add more bottles. So kind of a crazy experience. I think still today there's an opportunity to do things like that. And now that the iPhone performance is way better, and creators are so much better than we were back then. So this is kind of a challenge for you guys to try and create some experiences like that or better. All right, so now, folks, we are ready to get started. Let's meet tonight's stars. Again, a very interesting collection of applications and demos to help us create music, learn how to play music, and how to experience music in a whole new way. So to kick us off, I'd like to invite to the stage the co-founder of Immuse, the app by Heavy. Give it up for Chris Nunes. Chris?
Hey, everybody. Ori, can you hear me?
Yes, you're up.
Okay. Thank you.
Take it away.
Thanks for that brief history on music AR. I've similarly got a bit of nostalgia for you guys to start off my presentation. Hopefully, you will remember, some of you on this call. Nice to see all of you, by the way. I recognize many names, so I'm sure a lot of us have crossed paths, and thank you for joining tonight. So this is Keiichi Matsuda's hyper reality RoboCop, right? Which was sort of a dystopic view of what AR in the future could potentially do to our pupils. And I think everybody on this call would agree that that's probably not the future we want to build. I mean, this is 13 years ago that he released this video. I highly recommend, if you haven't seen it yet, or any of the series that he put together, to take a look at these, because this gives us good sort of warning about what not to do with AR in our lives. A little bit about our team. We've been in AR since 2011. We've won 2 Augies, 2015 and 2017, for our art and film. We used to do projects all over the planet as Heavy, which is, as Ori was referencing, our project is now called Immuse, but we were previously Heavy Studios. Our clients have been Google, Tesla, Toshiba, Samsung, Qualcomm. And so we have a pretty deep background in AR. And now with the addition, so BC Bierman is my co-founder. With the addition of Scott Clark, we've got a pretty deep bench on business and AR. Scott comes from Innovid and Vertebrae and Stream Elements. So I'm sure you've met BC or seen talks that he presented or that I've presented at AWE. I think in 2019, I might have given one of the first, if not the first, talk about AR and blockchain at AWE. So we've been thinking about this merger space of augmented reality and blockchain for a long time, which is what brings us to Immuse. Immuse is our new platform, and you can think of it as visual Spotify, meaning we're going to have music and visuals combined. It's a new type of music listening experience, added with a little element of reverse Pokemon Go. So it's out in the world in persistent AR. It's lightly gamified. We do empower screen recordings and sharing. So there's an element of TikTok and YouTube, some UGC from music fans to create AR music experiences to share with other fans. And then if you're not familiar with the blockchain space, there's this concept called DeFi, or decentralized finance. So we have a little bit of a financial aspect to what we're building in our platform. And all of this came about, by the way, when we were doing a project for Led Zeppelin and Rhino Records. Now, that project hasn't been released yet, but we basically said, wow, 3D visuals synced to audio is pretty compelling. So let's build a platform. Here's a prototype version of a music experience that's generative art as you're walking through the world, as if it was shot on the new, fingers crossed, Apple glasses. I need an escape from real life. Maybe I'll find it someday. Like it's 1945 and the street lights dance like light. Okay, so all of that footage you saw was not mock-up footage. That was all shot on our current app. It's live on the App Store. It's a wallet-connected app. It's under Immuse. I'll present a link with the QR code at the end of the slides. So you can see right now 5 music experiences that we've launched with at Art Basel, so about a month and a half ago in Miami. The musicians range from jazz through house, some indie rock, and so really great, compelling music to go with it. So getting back to the Keiichi Matsuda stuff, if that's what we don't want to build, how do we build and curate the world with content that we do want? And we've come up with a content concept as well as a tokenomics concept that involves blockchain and NFTs. If you're familiar with the term NFT, non-fungible token. All of our AR experiences are released as NFTs on the Polygon blockchain, which is a layer 2 on Ethereum. So here's an example of a music experience we built for Wax Owls, which is called Lie For Me. Shot on the beach in Santa Monica, so live screen recording. So that's sort of our premier property, which is an immersive music video, which is where we get our name, Immuse, immersive music. So this is an immersive music video. We also then can pull all the 3D models out of this experience and create digital wearables that could be distributed on platforms like DressX or potentially Snap or Instagram. We create filters. If you notice that the faces on these models, we can pull these apart, create face filters, all of which we call digital virch for the musicians. So virtual merchandise. So we're creating content that we think is compelling to launch into the world. And we seed this out in persistent AR. So on the previous list of our experience, we showed Niantic. They are one of our technology partners. We were one of the first 4 teams on the planet to use their tech, give them notes on Lightship. And they also helped fund the Led Zeppelin experience that I mentioned. So we are directly partnered with them on their VPS system to create performance nodes out in the world where this music content can be dropped. So we have this platform, this system for identifying and curating quality content into the world. And we are very specifically focused on music and art content. So there's other types of content that can be incentivized to drop into the space, but we are focused exclusively on music and virch. So we create what we call stages, where we drop the AR content in persistent AR. They become like a physically distributed jukebox. We can stake these into place. And so this is where I start bringing up blockchain concepts, where we can lock the persistent AR content in place with financial incentives. And then other players or other audience or fans can come along and experience the music and art with a subscription model or a small fee. This is some of the tokenomics that we've put in place. Again, this is all to incentivize quality content curation into space. One of the reasons why I was excited to talk to Ori and the AWE crowd again is we will be launching a native token that's going to power this whole network. We will be doing an airdrop to AR creators and participants in the space. And so the AWE audience is obviously top of mind for that. But all of our tokenomics are designed to help place quality AR content in the world. Before I dive into that, because it can get complicated in terms of the tokenomics, this is just a heads up that this allocation will be sent out via airdrop to participants that can provide us with wallet addresses and or collect some of our early NFT experiences. So I highly encourage you all to start taking a look at this space, get involved with NFTs if you can, because there are future benefits coming. Here's the QR code where you can download the app. Like I said, we have 5 songs currently for free. You can experience all of them without purchasing any NFTs. And I would implore you to start following us on Twitter, because that's going to be our main announcement channel when we do launch our token. And so happy to get all of you participating, both as a fan, but also as a collector. And we will work with other 3D studios. If you've got music that you want to add into the platform, we will support that. Everything is built on Unity. So I will stop there and take questions.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chris. First of all, congratulations. You know, it's a really unique experience, kind of taking some of the best things about AR and combining it with music in the real world, and the tokens. So really wish you a lot of success with this, and everyone here definitely download and try it out. And if you have already some feedback or questions, please share it here in the chat. And Chris will either address it in person, live, or in the chat itself. So Chris, it's been out, for almost 2 months now?
A little bit, yeah. So we launched it at Art Basel. It was a soft launch with what we call 5 test NFTs. So we did 5 direct musician partnerships to create bespoke experiences around their songs, and then launched them I think the second week of December. So with the holidays, et cetera, yes, it's been technically out about a month and a half, but we have not had a lot of attention on it during the holidays. So Art Basel was very busy, very frothy. We had a good time, but we would love, the adage is, if you're not embarrassed by what you launched, then you've launched too late. It is a work in progress. We are very proud of what we've got, but we would love and would solicit feedback and user testing in whatever fashion you can send us notes or what have you. Critiques welcome. So
awesome, Chris. So we salute you for actually putting it out there. So what's the feedback you were hearing so far from this, both from music artists as well as people that just like AR or just like music?
I think so. Everybody that we've shown the AR content to understands and I think appreciates that this is world-class content, at least that our studio is developing. And we want to support as many 3D studios to create similar experiences as well. So if you've got particle effects or other plugins on Unity that you want us to support, we're happy to talk to you about creating a world-class experience. I think it feels like we're batting 1,000 in our talks with musicians and bands and record labels. I think they all get it, that this is new, immersive experience that they can share with their fans. It's a new type of music experience. We started like streaming, you go into virtual concerts all the way up through live concerts. There's not a lot in the middle other than that. And so we offer a nice sort of digitally scalable but real world presentation of music and art. I think the musicians just get it. And so now it's a matter of tapping the musician fan base to get the word out. And that's where we're building from here.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see what new artists will join the platform and what people will do with it. I mean, I think it's like completely open for creativity and for new types of experiences. So can't wait to see more of that. If you have more questions for Chris, feel free to share, or feedback, feel free to share in the chat. Once again, Chris Nunes from the Heavy Project that created Immuse, an Augie Award winner, actually twice. Two Augie Award winners. So we thank you for that.
I think that's technically 16% of the art Augies. So.
That's quite an achievement. All right, so from Chris and one Augie winner to another Augie winner. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. And my email's in the chat if anybody wants to drop me a line.
All right. All right, so our next presenter or demo, I should say, is from another Augie Award winner, AWEU. The team that won the Startup to Watch was PatchXR with Melody Muse, which, as I said, is very pregnant at this point. But we have Gad Hinkis, which is not only the creator of the content in the app, but also the voice behind the character. So if you play this game, if you play this experience, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm completely obsessed with this character, and we'll definitely want to hear some impressions later on. Gad, take it away.
Okay, thank you guys. Can you see my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So I guess I can hand it over to DJ Patchy, but maybe a bit later. First, I'll explain to you what the heck is going on here. So I'm now in a mixed reality room as I'm talking to you that has a bunch of devices and instruments and assets that I just spawned into the room just as you guys were talking. And I wanted to show you a little bit things before, but before that, I'll explain. Basically, PatchWorld is by PatchXR that we created PatchWorld, and it's an environment for building musical worlds. And what does that mean? If you're familiar with something like Roblox or Rec Room, so we aim to be the Roblox or Rec Room for music, where people can come together and play music with a bunch of different fun, intuitive instruments. But the kicker here, all sorts of instruments that I'll make a little jam in a second. But the principle is that behind these instruments, actually, like this snare drum, for example, actually you can open it up and I'll show you how it's built. All of the content, all of the devices, all of the worlds, all of the studios that you can interact with in the app are actually built inside of the app. So it's also a programming language for audio and visual experiences. So I'm just going to open this up, and you see there are here different components that you can connect together. And I'll just give you a quick example of a few of these and what do they mean. So actually, PatchWorld, behind the scene, we connect sound like this bubble, interaction like this button, and visuals like if I connect it to this PatchWorld logo, then I can make it jump and react to my gestures. And we have a whole suite of tools to build your own devices, even though this is more for audio developers and people that are interested in developing for this environment. People that are just average consumers can just come in and start making music. So, and of course, you can watch other people make music when we launch multiplayer very soon this year. So I'm just gonna take a bass drum. I have here some physics going on, so I have some marbles falling from this cloud. Maybe I'll just put this. Oh, I have some beer bottles left from the other night. There's a duck here. Wait. Oh, got an egg. Maybe position this a bit. Oh, there you go. That's better. Nice. Okay. Now, besides just placing things in 3D space, I have some synthetic drums, and we can even make replicas of original synthesizers, like this Axis machine from up to really playful instruments like this that are completely new. Okay, nice. And lastly, I'm gonna record a little loop of myself, because you can also record your performance inside. So let's go. Let's do another one. Okay, so that was a little jam session with all these instruments, and as I said before, all of them are actually built inside of the app. And if you will try PatchWorld, you will see all these characters in games like DJ Patchy and a lot of other characters that are there to help you and guide you through your creative process, from teaching you how to make music, how to play with these different instruments, all the way to eventually teaching you how to build your own with puzzle games and all sorts of things. And all of these helpers, these characters, they are thanks to our avatar recording system, which is just as you saw. I don't know if the screen was glitchy, but it's very, very fast. And you can layer up different ghost recordings. We call them ghosts. And you can trigger them one after another. So if you do try PatchWorld, just know when you come in that every single experience, single thing was developed within the tool. So it's starts off like a magical music adventure and interactive, anyone can make music experience. It goes all the way into creating really serious professional level virtual hardware, and all the way to complete game development. So by combining interaction, sound, and visuals, we are with our patching system. It's a completely infinite tool, and yeah, we're just getting started. Even though we've been launched on the Quest store since June, I believe, and reviews are really, really good. We are like in the top 20 most selling apps on the store, and 4.8, we got really good traction. If you want to know more about the traction, I can talk more about that, but I wanted to show you the more cool stuff. And
Awesome. Thank you, Gad. That was great demo. Yeah, it's a little choppy on the streaming, but I think people got the idea, and you definitely need to try it. If you have the Quest or the Quest Pro, even better. Definitely try it out. I became obsessed with it after I first tried it at AW in Europe in October, and since then, whenever I want to have fun in VR, that's my go-to app. So really fun. And first and foremost, it's really fun just to make music for people that have no idea how to make music. And like Scott said here, the music sounds good. Even if you have no idea how to make music, it sounds good, and that's already huge. The other thing I really liked about PatchWorld is the kind of the onboarding or the training, the character that we were talking about. DJ what?
Patchy. So we got DJ Patchy. Yeah. DJ Patchy's here. And it's just all characters that just came actually out of talking baby talk to my new daughter. These characters kind of came up. I see, Tate, you have kind of had a comment about its in-app scripting. So it's actually, that's exactly it. Besides there's the scripting, there's the code part, which is basically being inside of Unity in VR. So instead of like having Unity or Unreal and you're on then you have to test, and you're there, you're building these things. And it's like a 3D node-based programming, which is very interesting because it combines the power of coding, but instead of this language and like typing like this, you're using a bit more of your caveman brain, because you're dealing with 3D objects and putting them together in cool way. So
yeah, that was a really fun part, to connect the wires or the tubes together and make sound that way. That was great, and I can definitely see how you can create like incredible virtual hardware machines to play music and other things like just playing. So that was cool. But I want to go back to the point around the training and this character. I think besides the fact it was fun, what caught my attention is that in VR sometimes you feel very lonely, right? I mean, you're trying to figure out what to do, and yes, you may have like a help guide or something that shows you how to do things, but it's always very detached. And I think what was really unique in your approach is that you felt like someone is in there with you and kind of walking you step by step on how to do things. And when you succeed in something, you get a praise. When you just make noise for the sake of making noise, you get frowned at. Stop making all this stuff. How was that?
Yeah. No, come on, stop it, please, I beg you, don't.
Exactly. So it feels very reactive. I know so far it's just recordings of you in VR, but I mean, are you kind of thinking of how to integrate some more of an AI-based interaction using the training, or it's still kind of far away?
So we have a lot of discussions internally about how, of course, we want to have an AI approach, and I think it's still internal on how it would be expressed. I think from the training perspective, one approach is to have actually another AI bot that's actually reacting to you and playing with you. These scripts, by the way, they are they take a bit of time, but they're not that complicated to do. It's really about, maybe the pain point is that some people, it's hard to know when the user wants to actually hold on and let them experiment on their own, and then get back to the teacher, because the teacher doesn't know what you're doing. It does know if you completed certain actions. So we can say if you you hit a bubble in the, then it says, ah, good. And if you didn't do it, it's just gonna ask you to do it again and again. But some people just want to maybe look at something else or look around, and then that's a bit of a challenge. As far as AI, I think that one option is to have these jam assistants. So people like bots that can accompany your music, your jamming. Although it's possible that when we introduce multiplayer and we really massage our community nicely and have a really good community of people, then you won't really necessarily need that. Perhaps if people are like, have open jam rooms and you can find and you can meet people like that, I think that would be pretty amazing. Where I think actually AI and things like GPT-3 could help, not in the far future, was actually like, instead of doing all the patching yourself, you could start with something. Hey, give me a bass synthesizer, or I want a guitar that sounds like Paul McCartney, and it will like create some sound that you can work with. Up to even, because it's a very visual environment, you could even ask to get, oh, I want to have a mountain, a green mountain, or a tree, and it will generate some visual, so you can create your environment as well.
Cool. Gad, we're running out of time, but I have to ask you one more question, so try to limit it to like 10 or 15 seconds answer. I love the mixed reality experience where you can play some of the instruments around your room, but what about playing on actual real objects around your room? Have you thought about that?
Yeah, of course. I think that first we will need to have hand recognition, and then like every surface in your room should be a playable thing. Otherwise, you could break your controllers if you get so excited. You're gonna smash it on your walls. But once we have finger tracking, I think that would be very amazing. You could draw, you could do a lot of things there. So spot on.
Everybody, give it up for Gad from PatchWorld. Awesome work. You got to try it out. All right, folks, we're moving on to our third presenter today. Zachary Aghaizu has been already on Nite before, but this time, it's focused on music. So we felt compelled to invite him back. He created a music creation app using mobile AR called BOCLAA. So Zachary, show us what you got.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'll share my screen with everyone. Explain. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, good. So BOCLAA is a AR music and art creation app based on iOS and Android mobile. It's been released since April, and it's a new way of creating within a space, and especially for music producers, people that are into like producing music. And yeah, it kind of encourages you to use your environment in a new way, rather than just being restricted to one space. And I'll show you an example. This is so it's a lot of live looping based and inspired. And yes, I'll play one of them. So instead of it being like a piano where you have C, D, E, F, G and everything, but the C, D, E, F, G is like however you want to place it. So however you want to be able to play the notes, you're almost like dancing through the music in a way. So it's fueling creatives in a new way. There's many different features that you can use. This is another looping example of looping. So yeah, this is another example of live looping. That is just one note of my voice that I recorded, and then using the app, I place it. I'll probably show an example at the end, how you can just turn your voice recording into a whole musical experience. So we've grown, especially through social media, organically, almost 100,000 downloads on iOS and Android within 9 months. It's had a few hiccups, especially in Android, bringing it there, but that's been resolved, which is good. Yeah, we're constantly working on updates, making tutorials, trying to get people to understand this whole new way of creating all the different features. So also the lines, actually, you can actually draw sounds. So yeah, there's live looping. There's multiple ways to interact with the sounds. It works as a MIDI controller with your softwares like Logic, Ableton. So people that are used to their own softwares can use it along wirelessly and wired. So you don't have to rely on the sounds of the app itself. It's like a hybrid. Market, so yes, mainly music producer market, but I've noticed there's been a lot of traction through social media with the gaming market. This is an example of a video most recent video that kind of went viral on TikTok, that quite a bit of traction. But now I'm focused more on niche marketing, so still creating kind of original things. But this is a good example to just show how it can be used even as a flute. Anyway. So videos like that have quite a lot of appeal, but I feel like it brings maybe people that assume it's just easy like that, but I'll show you how the app works anyway. It's a bit more complex. So yes, mainly acquiring people through social media, viral videos, influencers. The team right now is just me. I keep saying we because it sounds better, but it's currently just me. Nowadays, I'm even boosting my own music art to get people to understand the personal brand as well, because I feel like that's probably a better approach than approaching virals and joining trends and trying to hook it on, because the idea is to bring an audience that will want to learn the app and understand it. And I'll show
Zach,
a small
we're
demo.
running out of time.
Oh, okay.
So I think we have probably time for like 1 or 2 questions. So if you have a question, please post in the chat. I have kind of one kind of key question. So, you know, the idea is, of course, that you can place virtual objects spatially around you, and each one creates its own sound. And then as you move around it, it basically plays the music. I love the last example you showed with the flute-like sound. Kind of, you see how someone that may not be, you know, really adapted to playing music would actually play it pretty nicely just by using gestures and moving in the space. So that's cool.
Yes.
But so I guess the quick question is, so it's been out there for some time. Who do you see actually using this? Is it really the music producers, or is it the more amateur music fans that finding this kind of a fun way to be able to play music?
That's the whole dilemma, really. It's been throughout this month, just getting. Hence, the reviews are mixed of the app, even though it's very. Those videos, like the ABBA one that I showed you, where it's just that quick melody, just makes it look very easy, and that's what gets the quick downloads. Oh, you're like, everyone's downloaded. Oh, you get excited. But I've noticed when I do maybe things that are producer focused, that tends to have longevity of subscriptions. I've done things where I've jumped onto maybe a song that's trending, and then everyone jumps on it, and then you got for a month you get a couple subscribers, and you're like, oh yes, it's gonna grow, and then they're gone, And then now I found a place where it's in between, so it's still catchy enough, but people are intrigued by the app itself or intrigued by my music personally. So that's where I'm learning as I go. Just it's not about just jumping on trends to get I'll call it chicken and chips audience.
Very cool. Zachary.
So,
I mean, definitely
so
very unique.
yeah.
Definitely a very unique experience and user interaction with music. Kudos to that. If people, if you have some feedback to Zachary or questions, feel free to share in the chat. Zachary, before I let you go, best way to get the app is?
Get through my website. I can link it to you.
You can just post it in the chat. Post it in the chat, that would be best. All right, give it up for Zachary for BOCLAA.
Thank you.
All right, and now we're down to the last, but certainly not least, presenter today. An application to help you learn how to play music. That's something that I've been dreaming about for all my life. Something that will really help me play music because I suck at it. And here you go. We have Zac Reid, the founder of Pianovision, which seems to be going viral online with people loving it. Zac, take it away. Show us what you got.
Oh yeah, I'll just jump right to the demo actually.
What are you wearing, Zac?
This is the Quest Pro. I love it. Its mixed reality is really awesome. So can you guys see this?
Yeah, now we can see it.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I don't know. I started building this when Pass-Through came to the Quest 2, and I started thinking like, what are all the ways that piano learning and piano experience, what's it going to look like, I don't know, 10 years from now, and what tools do we have now that we can kind of build in line towards that future? And the Quest Pro came in, and it was obviously way better than the Quest 2 with this full color pass-through, and it seems like a lot of the other industry members are going this pass-through route, which has been obviously really great for us. So the first step is like integrating the MIDI from a piano into the headset. So with just this cable, you plug it straight in, and your piano kind of becomes alive a little bit. So yeah, a lot of cool features in here. For example, we have pass-through, so you can see your hands. Kind of a cool feature where we have like the selective pass-through of your hands actually included in the menus. Pass-through is how I usually prefer to play, but some people like going into our Pianovision Music Hall. So you can actually play in a stadium. And I built this from the ground up with multiplayer embedded. So we have people come in and they'll actually like have concerts where if you, you can choose the different seats. So like if I want to go watch from over here, I could watch someone play up there. It's really cool. You can hear it. It's integrated with the keyboard and everything. So you actually like hear them play with the right dynamics and everything. It's pretty neat. So what you're seeing here is actually, it's an unreleased build. So we're currently on the App Lab, but we'll be coming to the official store later this year. And what you're seeing partly here is some of the cool features we're going to have. Specifically, it's the learning engine. And so when I was thinking about the future of piano and I think about the future of AR, I'm inspired by a lot of old like sci-fi where it's like, for example, one of them is the show Chuck, where he has these glasses that he puts on and he basically downloads a skill into his brain. So I was thinking like, how could I kind of have piano and download that into your head? So I have this adaptive learning engine that looks at how you play a song and measures this. You can see these are the scores for every measure, and it switches for every song. And so like as you perform, you can see like, let's say measure 3 and measure 4, I performed worse than the rest of it. It'll isolate those and repeat those for me until I have them down perfectly. So I'll play a little bit and I'll turn the learning engine on. So you can see the learning engine, it already isolated measures 3 and 4. So that's what I'll start with. And like, let's say, for example, I do pretty poorly. I'll just miss, I'll miss some of the notes here. I guess I can also demo this. So we have expertly crafted finger numbers for every note. It's really kind of an art, and the guy that we have is really phenomenal with it. And we have these indicators that kind of lead your hand into playing that. So like I said, I'll play a little bit poorly here just to kind of show this kind of iterative loop of like adaptively learning how to play it a little bit better. But I'll miss some notes maybe. I do this, I don't know, maybe like 3 times or so. Maybe I'm missing, I'm close, but just not really hitting. So you can see it says decreasing tempo. So now instead of going from a full tempo, it slows down and tries to match where my current skill level is, and it'll build me back up until I can play it correctly. So see the skills or the score building up there. So now I improved there, and it sees that I actually played that pretty well. It boosts my tempo back up to full speed. I could play this a couple of times. I think once more, maybe. Now it'll move to a different section. So at this point, measure 1 is my worst measure, so it'll move over here. I'll keep practicing this, and over time, it's really cool how you end up actually like learning this song really, really fast. I'll just give a demo, I guess, of the whole song, just while we're here. So yeah, and then you can get achievements. You have a level that goes up over time. Something that some people really love is you can upload your own music. So there's websites like MuseScore that have like tens of thousands of MIDI files, and we accept all of them. So you can play pop songs or like River Flows in You. You can upload like 50 of them. Yeah, and so yeah, the idea is for right now we have a lot of people who are like, they dabbled with piano learning before, but they didn't really stick with it. And this kind of just helps you jump right in and play and like kind of be musical and feel yourself, feel the song coming out of your hands. Even like way before you're of like the capability of playing it on your own. But we're moving a lot more into like the education space. For the launch we have later this year, we're going to have like, I think on the order of like 1,000 different songs built into the app. with this learning engine being like fully out of beta and really fully fleshed and stuff. So
Zach,
yeah.
thank you very much. This is an incredible demo. I think a lot of people on this meetup are connecting with this. They can
Cool.
relate to it. Thank you for putting this together. I mean, I think it's a dream for many people, many aspiring musicians. So let's see if there's some questions in the chat. I see one question whether it's also running on the Quest 2 or just on Pro.
Yeah, all the quests, Quest 1, Quest 2, and Quest Pro.
So you would just see it in black and white as opposed to
right.
color.
It's in the Quest Pro brings like true depth, which feels really, really good, especially with the keys. A lot of people reported on the Quest 2 that there's some distortion, and I mean over time you get used to it, but the depth on the newer ones is really nice. Cool.
So I mean, I had to ask you if you probably hear from aspiring musicians, and did you get any kind of indications, any testimonials of people that tried it and actually improved their playing?
Yeah, we have people, the people who, because we have the MIDI uploads, there's like a decent community of people who have tried in different other ways. Like some people play, it's called synesthesia, and it's the other falling note system just on like a basic computer. So they're like kind of beginner, intermediate level, and they have this, they're used to playing with these other methods. They get into Pianovision, and they find themselves able to play like way better. One of the things that specifically about Pianovision, since it's very visual, is like we have the fingers in there, so people learn like the right way to hold your hands as you play, and you can kind of feel that come out a little bit better as you're playing.
There's a question from Benjamin whether you also have a way to help learners play from a sheet of music.
We do. Yeah, I didn't show that, but yeah, that's an option. So for every file we have in the app and any MIDI file you upload, it automatically converts to sheet music, and that's another panel you have in the app. So if you want to just avoid the visuals and learn how to sight read, that's right in there too.
Cool. We got some comments. It looks very polished, very mature. It's like it's not one of those early demos where it only shows the concept but really doesn't play itself to actually use. It looks like this is well thought of. So really congratulations on this. I have one more question. So does the app track your finger position or the sound that it makes to know whether you're right or not?
To know whether you're right or not. So you can do finger positions, but it's a little inaccurate. If anyone's used Quest hand tracking, you can see like if there's something complex, it just wouldn't be able to get it that well.
Right.
So if you use most like digital keyboards, pretty much every digital keyboard these days comes with like a MIDI port. So you just plug the MIDI cable directly into the headset, and it's just completely perfect latency, like basically zero latency and complete high fidelity. We have a desktop app too that you can, if you don't want to be tethered to your headset and the keyboard, you can plug it into your computer and it goes over Wi-Fi, so it transmits perfectly.
That's amazing. I'm gonna try it tonight. Thank you for showing it to us and for making it.
Yeah, for sure.
Any last words for the community here? Anything you're looking for?
So yeah, we'd love feedback. We have a Discord that's pretty active. Come join the community. Come try it out. We're on App Lab today, but like I said, later this year we'll come to the official Quest store. So yeah, just try it out, and we love feedback. Join our community, please.
Thank you, Zach. Would you stop sharing for a second? I just want to show the speaker slide and thank everybody as we're at the end of our meetup today. So I want to thank once again to our 4 fantastic speakers, to Chris Nunes from Immuse, to Gad Hinkis from PatchXR, Zachary Aghaizu from BOCLAA, and finally Zac Reid from Pianovision. Give it up to these amazing creatives, and thank you for making music more interesting with AR. All right, folks, I will see you next time. Thanks very much for joining us tonight.